Keegan came out recently with some of his Euro nymphs, and they become quite popular. And I started looking at Lance's Frenchie, and I liked the design of the Frenchie. It looked really good. And I got to thinking about it. I was kind of wondering, was there any way that I could improve upon the Frenchie? And I found, rummaging through Angler's Den one day, going through their fly tying section and trying to come up with an idea of how to take a Frenchie and improvement, came across what is the, put that up here, get it around, you can read it. This is Micro UV Poly Chanel, and in hot pink. And I started, I bought a bunch of packages of different colors and stuff, started experimenting with them. And I looked at this one, I looked at Lance's Frenchie, and I thought, gee, I can do something a little bit different with that. Then I found rainbow beads, and they're multicolored. Found them in Sportsman's Warehouse. And the beads have different colors on them. They're red one side, blue another side. And I figured, okay, I'll give that a try, but I gotta get it on the right way first. Dave, is this coming across okay? Again, I'll start with the fire orange, hot orange tying thread. Build up a body with it. And bringing it back quite a ways. Get that fluorescent tag back at the bottom of it there. And then Coq de Leon for tail. Again, I went 2 years ago at the Fly Fishing Expo, whenever the Euro flies were becoming popular, and Coq de Leon was one of the most new feathers on the market. And I looked at a couple of fly tying shops, and you could get 8 of them for 12 bucks, or you could buy a whole hackle, a whole skin of them for about 40 bucks. So I bought 2 skins. And they come in quite handy, actually. Tie that in so we got a good tail there. Trim off the excess. Pheasant tail. So first of all, I want to tie in some BR size hot orange wire, and use this for ribbing. And I think one of the things with the Euro nymphs is the amount of color that they put into them really is the attractant to fish more than anything else. We'll take some pheasant tail. Again, wet it down a little bit, but don't do it if you live in California. Trim off a little bit off the end there. We'll put the pheasant tail in. Bring that up to just behind the eye. I'll throw a little whip finish in there with my fingers to hold that in. Take the pheasant tail. You notice I'm using a rotary vise, but I'm not rotorizing it or anything. I've got to bring my little arm that holds things out of the way when you do this. So we'll bring that up, pheasant tail. Tie that in place and trim it. Now nobody ever cuts their thread when they're trying to trim like that. Then the hot orange wire, BR size for ribbing. You can counter wrap it or just wrap it normally like I'm doing here. Either way works. And when you get up to this point, this is where, now everybody's going to say, God, he's using his scissors to cut the wire. Well, use the back of your scissors to cut the wire, not the front of it. That way you don't have to have a special pair of scissors to cut wire. And that is basically the Frenchie. But then I decided to use this hot pink chenille and add that to it. Because it's got the UV to it, it's got a little bit of the legging sticking out. And I'll wrap that up around the head here. Get a good buildup of the body there. Bob, you know what I call this fly, don't you?
Yeah.
So I couldn't use Lance's term as for the fly, so I had to come up with something different. So Bob, what is it called?
I forget.
A few more wraps around the head there, a little whip finish. It's something about French and it tickles, but I'm not going to mention what it is. But this is my variation of Lance's Frenchie fly. And I think with the micro chenille, the way it splays out around the fly, it really becomes an attractant to the trout. And I've had a lot of fish take this more so than a regular Frenchie. Pardon? And a little bit of the super glue on there. And that is my variation of a Frenchie that Lance Egan ties. And it's worked quite well for me. We used one of these up on the West Fork of the Smith up on the North Slope, and as a dropper, and we were taking quite a few fish with it. Of course, the fish up there are, you know, a big one runs about 8 inches, and so it was a fun day catching fish with that.